I can't even imagine the guys that competed against us. I can't even imagine.
I bet they hated to see you guys coming up there to the slack. Boy.
I don't even know what they felt. I mean, like, oh shit! Here we come. I don't know what y'all are doing today. For one, you're freaking trading with us. You're trading with us, and we're winning first and second. Pretty much the way it's going to go down today. You know, I don't want to call your grandma 17 times, and you're at work. We're trading today. Right?
Hey, you guys messed it up for us. We can't get a damn trade. No more.
We had to have it. I can't turn this cap out. You can. You ain't going to win nothing anyway.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Let's Freakin Rodeo podcast, presented to you by Boot Barn. We have a huge episode today. Huge. Cody Ohl. Like, comment, and subscribe. That's how we're growing, is by you, the fans. All the comments help the algorithm on YouTube. Anytime you can like, comment, subscribe, it sure helps us out a lot. Thank you so much to everybody that's been listening. It's been a heck of a ride. Buckle up, strap in, and let's freaking rodeo.
We've been ready for you, old son.
Been waiting for the green light. A man who's had his back against the wall in the highest pressure situations in rodeo history. What gets you going nowadays? I mean, do you have pressure moments? Do you have things that excite you still? What does your day-to-day look like?
Well, I got sick right after COVID, and 90% of the people that get what I had, when I messed my knee up, and I got staph, MRSA, the whole 9 yards, and spent 4 or 5 months in the hospital and stuff. So I really didn't know what was gonna, I was just glad I lived, for one, but I really didn't know what was gonna come of it, because before that had happened, I was already, some depression was kicking in. I couldn't do what I love to do. I couldn't do what's been my whole life. I couldn't do a lot of things I couldn't do, and then I got heavy. So anyway, after all that, I just didn't know, I prayed and prayed and prayed, after I made it, I was like, God, just give me some reason that you saved me. You know what I'm saying? Like, why did you save me? I know I consider myself a good dad. And so I knew he saved me for that. I knew they weren't ready for this crazy world we live in. I did know that. And so, not long after that, I dropped to my knees out here, and he showed me in 2 days, man. I got about a 2-page text on my phone from Jerry Nelson, and here we go, training horses and doing what I love, and, progressively get where I could step off and tie a calf again. So I'm starting to get fed again, so then I'm good enough, I can ride one at a futurity. So that started coming back, but there's not really anything now. It's like these horses are my life. So, they're feeding me and my adrenaline and stuff like that. But just to be healthy again and able to tie calves down. So that's a big deal for me, so if I wasn't going to get that back, I don't know what was going to bring my high back, but I knew where my low was for sure.
For sure, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that's what he's kind of start off with, the fact that when your back was against the wall, you were your best, whether it was laying in that hospital bed or, backing in there at the 10th round of the national finals. You've always have. So how did that start? You grew up in Orchard, Texas. What was it like growing up being in Orchard, Texas, Cody Ohl?
Man, honestly, if I think about, a lot back, those days right now, I really do. And I need to drive down there and just, shoot some video and stuff. Like, I grew up in the middle of town. There's only 303 people in that town. And, I just had families that were all around our 3 acres, and I can remember that, just lawn chairs, just watching me practice for, their seats weren't, say 500 feet away from my arena, but they'd be just lined up. And then down, 3/4 ways of that, my grandma, she would sit right at the gate every evening and just watch me rope and rope and rope. And I mean, just hours after hours, and it's just funny because, it was talking about it the other day, cars would drive up behind my arena, and, like, my dad would be nice, and then it's kind of go on, like this isn't playtime, but I just had great friends in that little town, and they all supported me, just hung out, played sports my whole life, walked to school, rode a bike to school, like that's where it all started right there. I get all these guys nowadays, they just say, or what, moms, grandmas, I want you to train the next Cody Ohl. I said, well, those days are over, like y'all don't even let them play sports, for one. So how am I going to, that's where all my stuff come from. Like, I'm already roping good time I'm in 7th grade. I'm already kind of, hey, this is kind of for me, and I'm standing in 4 inches of water doing up downs, and coach grabbed me by the face mask. I said, it's like a mini camp, like Army, when I was growing up. So those days are gone.
You was probably a mean running back, linebacker or running back, something like that.
I was a defensive end from 2nd grade on, and then running all through school, fullback, tailback, fullback, tailback. So
Stud.
Honestly, when I graduated high school, it was a sad day because, I had something to carry on to. When you go to small school, we had great athletes and stuff that I played with like 6 guys from 2nd grade on, and that was it for them. Like, no more. That was their NFR was gone, right? And I take off and do my own thing and keep that in my body. But man, the Friday nights with those 5 guys and knowing when you're going to get the ball, hey man, I'd hold them accountable just like my team now. Like, hey man, I'm coming right off your hip. Come on, man, we gotta clear some stuff out here. Like, come on, man, we gotta have this. Or, my favorite thing was fullback because I love to block. Like, we need to score right here. Here, just give him the ball. We're going to get in there, right?
Yeah, I mean, and you were a child. You were a child prodigy. I mean, everybody says stories of you in junior high, and they already knew that you were, going to be the next great. So that's kind of interesting hearing you talk about these boys don't even let them play sports no more. You know,
let's homeschool, man. We got to be homeschooled to rope more. I said, man, they're on the couch till you get home. They're not doing anything, man. We're going to do a little bit of work. I know how this homeschool deal goes. It's like, do a little bit of work. Hell, we're probably paying somebody to do it. So we're not doing anything. And so that time frame there, like getting up at 6 and being at practice my whole life, so it's that was my life. And that's what really turned me into who I was. And the coach that I had, I didn't know a whole lot about it, but I knew kind of rodeo background. His daughter was Joe B's age. And so he already knew I had it in me. So he was holding me accountable, and I really didn't know why. And so, he'd tell me, man, you got to have a lot of money to rodeo. You got to do this, you got to do that. And when I got to really kicking butt, man, I was like, hey man, I think I made it. I mean, we didn't have to have a whole lot of money, but
they say, I've heard stories far and wide about Leo that he was tough. So did that mold you? I mean, how do you feel about that looking back on your childhood and on the person that you became?
I mean, now you're getting into the good stuff, man. It's like my dad that raised me is Leo Ohl, will forever be my dad. Got with my mom after I was almost 2 years old, and he adopted me. And from that point on, I was I'm going to say the most loved kid in the world. Like, that's how much I meant to him. And, he would tell me stories about running out the backyard, never knew nothing about rodeo. Run out the backyard, and there was a calf roping horse tied in the backyard. Bust out the screen door. Now there ain't no horse out there, So all his life, that was his dream. So when he come about, he was great friends with my grandpa, like my real grandpa, and they team roped together. And so the whole story is pretty cool the way it plays out, And I'm going to see this guy and roping all day, and I think this is the coolest life ever. I don't even know, so this is my dad's raising me, roping calves every day. I'll go over, which turned out to be my real dad. I'm going over there and roping in the summers and doing all these things. It just added up. Like, now, all the rumors and stuff, you this, you that. Well, now I guess now it's not fair because I had 2 dads, you know what I mean? That equally loved me. One wasn't ready to be a dad. And I respect him enough now that he gave those rights up to let somebody be a great dad to me. And so my grandpa really respected it, and then respected my dad enough to take over, and that's how my last name changed. So, all through school, I didn't really find out till probably I was 13, 14 years old. And people are, like, how's your dad? Well, I'd be with my dad, so it starts sinking in. So I didn't really overthink it. So I started and I was like, I look like this guy, like there's something to this, but nothing. I just never got off beat. I just drove and drove and drove and got better and better and better. And like, I have all these people just pushing me and, asking the most of me and buying my food when I'm over there, cooking for me. Like he was a dad, a figure, and so when it all comes to head, it's like, holy mackerel, man. Like, I mean, what a story, really,
Yeah.
But, I still had that little bit of emptiness in me, like that's when I started kind of finding out that it's like
had to be hard. I mean,
as much as I loved my real dad, it was like, man, it was something that kind of drove me there, like he wasn't ready to be a dad for sure, but it was something that drove me for my whole career, like from the very get go. Was I enough? That's why I use that word a lot. Like, am I enough? Was I enough? Like,
Yeah.
and so it started sinking in, and then, people started kind of bringing it up, and it never derailed me. Like, it never, until, people started putting a lot of emphasis on it when you start really winning. And
People
so
don't care until you win.
they don't care till you win, man. So that you want to become great in life, get ready. I mean, we're not going to judge, Joe Blow. We're just going to let him be average because he's comfortable at average, right? He don't want all the pressure that comes with, winning a world championship. And so, like Strand Smith, same deal. He wins his world championship, thinks he's going to come right back, win another one. 3 months into it, he's like, hey, you crazy suckers can have this, man. My mind, my body, my soul cannot handle another year what I just put in.
And that's a strong figure, a guy with a lot of character. I mean, that shows you how difficult it is.
And obviously with your dad, you're talking about when you get to that success, and you see all this in major sports, then all these narratives come out, and then like you're 18, 19, 17, 18, 19, and you start winning, and people want to make stories out of everything.
I'm tired of people painting Cody Ohl. Like, you painting me since the day I won Barry Burks at 12 years old. My whole life's been painted, right?
Yep.
It's been a fun painting, but you don't know half the shit, like you don't know nothing. You think you do.
What is one? So the way I view Cody Ohl is one of the greatest calf roper of all time to ever have lived. What are some things that you say people are painting me the wrong way? That's how I'm painting you. That's how I feel like maybe the general public, like common fans, but what are ways that people are painting you the wrong way?
So you're going to do all this stuff to me over 5% of the mistakes I made, and you're going to overlook the 95% of greatness that I know I bring to the table, that I knew I bring to the table to this town at one time. Like, I know what I bring to the table to these students now. So it's funny because I know some of the parents that come here that have judged me, like I'm doing the wrong things, they choose not to like me. Their grandmas, I'm vocal. Like, I'm never going to commentate. Never. They're not going to let me, like I tell the truth. I mean, there's nothing to butter up about our sport. So once these grandmas, long story short, once those grandmas have started coming here with their granddaughters and their grandsons, and I know some of these people, like I know they haven't digged me my whole career, and so when they find out what's in here and here tied together, and they see their granddaughter or grandson that has never really smiled on the inside, that this is all this roping stuff, that's their dream. And that's all people say. Well, I don't care if we go broke. This is his dream, like his dream, her dream. Well, it's not going to be a dream before long. It's going to be a nightmare. You have no idea. So if you can't cut the mustard here, man, it's time to do something different. And I coach 5 things. If you tell them 6, they forget 1, right? Everybody's teaching 90 things.
Yeah.
There's not 90 things to roping, but what I'm getting at is these grandmas and stuff, they leave here now going,
yeah.
So maybe not all that stuff's true about him. And then they come back the second time and they're like, then we're friends, like, and that's what drives me now. Like, hey man, find out what's here first. Don't paint your picture. I partied harder than anybody, but guess what? It really didn't affect my performance. That's why I just kept being the guy that I was, Could I have done things a lot better? Yeah, I could have done things a lot better, but, like the night my calf walks out at Vegas, my kids are piled on my chest in my hotel, crying with me all night long because I can't get anything done with anything about it. Like, I don't know what I should have done at the time, but, the next thing I hear is I'm out all night partying I got my family there in the room with me. Like, that's the only place I laid is in bed and cried all night long, like all night, just tore up, calling lawyers, calling, whoever I think can help the situation here, a rerun, so little things like that, or see me at a rodeo. I have a good time. I drink a lot of beer and drink a lot of whiskey and chase girls, I mean, like it's just who I was, like, I said, well, how was it like being you? You got Joe, you got Fred, and then a decent looking white guy that can win first place and beat Fred Whitfield. What do you think my life was like, man? You're like, seriously? That's me and him are winning first and second everywhere we go.
Yeah.
How was my life? I don't know. How was it?
Didn't suck.
It was fun.
I said, I don't know, how was it?
So,
But the thing too about being hated, Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, fill in the blank, Tiger Woods, it's part of the game, man.
It's part of the game, but it's a sick game, man. There's sick people out there. Like, there really is. That's part of my deal. Like 2 weeks ago, like God said, man, there's 3 people. I'm not going to lie to you. There's 3 people I hated, like hate. And you can't have that, man. You can't have that in your body. Like it's taken over the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks of my life, maybe 2 months close to, like I let a lot of hate in because those people I hated, like when I let that go, man, it released a lot because I've been holding in so much. I know how many people, they don't really hate me, but they think they do, so that's a lot to carry. And I only had 3.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like I said, the painting of the greats and the stress that comes along with that every time you step out that door, I mean, it's like having that camera on you everywhere you go. You can't speak to the wrong person. You can't, you can't even make eye contact with a hot girl. I mean, that's serious shit, like cheating on his wife. He's doing all these things, man. Like, just walk. I mean, from the point that you get where we become, almost like you got to have blinders for the rest of your life,
I saw a quote by Denzel Washington, one of the greatest actors of all time. He said, you want it to rain, but you don't want to deal with the mud. He said, you want all this fame, you want all this winning, but you ain't ready for what comes with it.
They just don't have a clue. I mean, honestly, nowadays there's more popular guys because of social media, right? So, to me, there's a little bit of pressure off the top tier because they have access to everybody now, right? So you're going to take the top 10 guys in every event, I think. They got to live their life right. They got to be different. They got to, do the right things at the right places. Back then we didn't have phones. We didn't have video cameras, catch everything. We lived a whole different life,
Yeah.
And it's different nowadays. That's to me, a person can not be a good person, and long as they're good on TV, the whole world says they're a good person. They can throw blessed out every third word. Oh, this guy's a Christian. Well, I'm watching him rope, and I'm like, say what you want, bud.
Yeah,
looks good on TV, sounds good on TV. His interviews sound great, huh? Okay,
for sure.
Go get you a video of him here in a couple hours. Tell me what you think.
Well, it's obvious, I think, that you used a lot of that, whatever it was, that hate, that stuff to fuel you throughout your career. But it's just as cool to see the peace that you have now, with raising your kids and with teaching and everything, and just being in a good spot in your life. I know that that happened in 2020, but seeing where you're at in your life and that's just almost as cool as seeing what you did in your career. And so I not that it means nothing coming from me, but I'm proud of you for that. So,
well, it means more than you think. I get tons of DMs, and I have people that ask me, man, why do you share so much of you? Like, you don't have to tell your story. You don't have to tell anything. I'm like, when God's talking to you, man, it's a whole different deal. So I don't care what you think about what I post. Like, I'm an emotional person, very emotional person. Like, as strong as I bark, this is the weakest thing on me. Like, I cry at a great national anthem. You think those big dudes on TV, do you think my hair still stands up on my arms when I get a good national anthem and tears will come down. Like, my heart's strong and I bark strong, but that's the softest thing on me. So kind words, it doesn't matter who it is. When I get all these DMs, it's stuff that feeds me, like the stuff that people will really genuinely send to me. Hey, I don't know if you're going to read this or not, or you're even getting these messages. Man, I get all my stuff. I don't have nobody running my show. That guy right there. And since that took over, am I perfect? No, nobody's perfect, but my life is smooth now. I got, at one time I knew my family, God, and Jerry Nelson were the only ones that I could count on. Like, that was 4 family members, 5 with my mom, and then God and Jerry Nelson. I mean, I had a small circle, but I had a hell of a team to ride for, and a purpose, and that's what drove me back to finally getting a smooth life. Like all the garbage was sneaking out. All the just drive and having to be accounted for every single day of my life. That started some of that coming out, and that was anger. It's not really anger. It's just, as a competitor like that, living and die by the sword every freaking day, I want to win first every day, not second, first. And so when that starts getting out of you and knowing those days are over, yeah, it depresses. It got me real depressed. And so now that peace is starting to come over me. I found what I love to do. I'm home. I've been going 90 miles an hour since I was 9 years old, like out the driveway all weekend, every day, all week long once I went pro, so now it's just like, I don't want to go to town. I don't want to do anything. I just want to be just my happy place. Like my horses are my happy place. Midnight brushing my horses. That's a happy place for me, man. That's where I think. That's what I could tell Blake every morning. I was like, I knew what horse I was riding first this morning. You don't even know what pair of pants you're putting on this morning. Like, I know what pair of pants I'm wearing this morning. I know that's the boots I'm putting on. I know where I'm going to put them at. I know what second horse I'm going to ride. I said, go feed this set of calves, do something. I said, you think I thought about that right now? No, I wanted to do that last night. So I'm always a day ahead, so the planning all that, so now I'm just at such peace because I'm not like this, rodeo's going so fast. I really don't know what I'm doing tomorrow, my whole life, it's just going so fast. Now I'm at a place where I just got rhythm. I got a plan, there's a vision. And so that's what's really feeding me now to be better and be smooth and have God leading it all.
Wow. So that's hard to come back from. It had hard to start back over, but I want to ask about the YRA days, the domination and the YRA days, specifically the badass steer riding.
So that was one thing when growing up. If there was an event on there that I could enter, I worked at it, man. Like pole bending, barrel racing, calf riding. So I'm starting at the beginning here, right? Straight away barrels. I kick your ass, man. Like I don't care how much money your dad have. This little Appaloosa right here will get you, And so, it all started out very bottom, If that thing was on the day sheet, I was working at it. Like we did all this roping, man. There was poles set up. There was barrels set up. There was calves. I had a little bucking chute. There's calf to ride, like not to hang out with your buddies and rope them and get on them. I mean, like legit put your calf rope on that dude and freaking ride this son of a buck, like I'm not talking about, we're just intermediate calf ride. We got on these calves after we roped them when they run out the arena. No, I'm talking about legit. Like I'm going to make the NFR in the calf ride, and that's how serious, And so, the YRA, I mean, that's kind of where all the stuff happens, man. That's where the picture started being painted, from that day, from winning Barry Burks at 12 to YRA, if from the time I started in the YRA, I mean, I don't know how many other YRA buckles there are. Like, I mean, I got most of them, in my age group. And, I always went from that age group. And even when I was the little youngest guy, it just carried, like it didn't matter if they were 19, I was 16, or I was 15, or I was 12 and they were 15. If they gave a trailer, I got it. If they give an all around saddle, I got it, man. Like, and then whatever on top of that, the other events, that I was the best at, or I felt the best at, that year, I got those too. So it's pretty cool. I think some of the YRA guys that ended up making it and coming on, I think that some of that resentment of my success growing up, like there's guys that were born at the wrong time, man. There's, like, I'm sorry.
Up against me their whole life.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like we're the same age. I'm sorry, man. Like, don't hold it against me. I mean,
it ain't my fault.
It ain't my fault. Like, again, God, why'd you do this, man? Like, I mean,
Born at the wrong time.
If they gave it, I got it, So, I mean, I had a guy this morning said, you never had a problem bragging about yourself. I said, man, get off of my stuff. Get on that average dude stuff, man. I'm not bragging. I'm just telling you the truth. Like,
It is the truth.
I don't never get vocal about my teachings or anything like that. Like, I know right here, man, like, you want to get all of us in a phone booth? I'll show you some coaching, right? You listen to theirs, you listen to theirs, you listen to theirs, listen to mine.
Yeah.
You make the decision, like, I'm not telling you I'm the best coach or I'm the greatest roper. Like, I know in my heart, so, but like I said, getting off of that, go back to the YRA. That was everything. Steer riding. When I graduated to the steer riding with Kefra, it was serious stuff, man. Like, so then I have idols that ride bulls in the YRA and the TYRA, like those guys went on PBR, 3 or 4 of them, Brian Herman, Dax Lackey, some of those guys, they had a good career in the PBR, but they were like 5 years older than me. So there's always ahead of me. Like, I got chaps hanging up in Blake's room that came from, Brian Herman. Like, he gave them to me when he graduated from steer riding to bull riding, gave them to me, like, cause he would be there, help my dad pull my rope. Like, it was, hey man, this kid freaking rides good. To watch this crap, so it was stuff I took serious. I had just steer riding steers at home. That's what I did. That was another event.
You didn't want to make a run at the all around with bull riding and time event?
No, so that leading up to that, like, so when I get 16, I get on probably 25 bulls, at competition and junior rodeos. Like, you go to some junior rodeos, there's some junior bulls, man, and that are ranked, and so the steer riding days was ranked when I grew up, because those guys, they knew the numbers of those steers. Those steers, when I grew up, they weighed like 1,100 pounds. They were huge, like they were bigger than the bulls that the guys were hauling. And the guys that today, I can tell you the numbers of those steers because they were so ranked. And they bucked better than the bulls that were at the rodeo. The very best steer that ever walked the face of the earth, the number is 38. You say 38 around those 5 guys or guys that rode, they know exactly what we're talking about. Like, I'd be going to the rodeo and it turned into like nobody could ride him. Well, who do you think's going to freaking draw that sucker when on game day, you can't tell me I got that steer 3 times in a row, man. When you can't tell me that. Like, I'm driving to Port Lavaca the first time I ever got on this sucker, right? Like, you can't tell me I drew that steer. You can't make me convinced. Like, ain't no way he can ride that one. Draw him that one. The rest of them he can ride.
Yeah.
Sorry, bud. I rode his ass. I rode his ass, and like Brian Herman, he's the first guy I wanted to call. Like, hey man, that steer you never rode, man. I got him. He's bucking just the same as he was when you was here, and so on and so forth. I go to 2 more rodeos. I draw him 2 more times.
Rode him
I
both
stick
times.
his ass both times. Like, that's
16.
No, that's like it.
13,
That's like
14?
at 15.
15.
Yeah, 15. That's before junior bulls, right before junior bull riding. And this dude's ranker than the bulls that are there. Like, but it started getting where they got so ranked for me. Like, it take some stuff on my shoulder, my elbow, doing all these things. And I'd be like kind of numb. So if I rode bulls early in the perf or something, sometimes it was first, man, it would just be hurting, the rest of the night, it seemed like, and so I kind of had to make a decision there, and I loved it as much as I loved roping. I really did, and when my bio stuff comes out and all that, you'll see I was pretty damn good, so what am I thinking? I'm thinking, who knows? Maybe I am going to be a bull rider. I don't know,
So high school championship calf roping, right?
Mm-hmm.
Senior year or?
I think junior year. I won a state championship heading as a freshman, and then I qualified to calf roping all 4 years, but I won it only once and won nationals once. But made it in the steer wrestling to nationals, team roping both events, calf roping all 4 years. So,
Gotcha. And then, so what year did you graduate? 92 or 93?
92.
And then 94 was your rookie year?
Yeah, it's funny you say 94 is your rookie year. Like you guys, it's just a funny deal, man. Y'all are pissed that your birthday fell wrong. Y'all are getting your pro card 18 years old. Well, my birthday y'all's birthday or whoever's fell wrong. Can't do this, can't do that. You know, that was a grown man sport when I was 18.
Yeah.
I don't even know if we sat down at the table even talked about winning world championships. I don't even think, because when I watched the NFR, them was freaking grown men, and them was grown men calves.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I was even close to that. I don't even know if it was a conversation. I mean, I'm going to college. I really wasn't wanting to go to college. My mom said, give it a try, you know, so, but, you know, I went to college for, I mean,
How much did you go to college?
the joke is, you went to TWV, which is 2 weeks at Vernon. That's what Roy Cooper says, you know. Son, you went to TWV. You didn't go to Vernon. You were 2 weeks in Vernon. And so, you know, but still, then I'm coming back to Stephenville, roping with Trent Walls every day, just rodeo and going to some amateurs and lots of jackpots and stuff. But it never even crossed my mind, man. That's a grown man's. I'm not a grown man. I'm still a boy, you know. So nowadays it's different, you know. Like you say, my rookie year is 94. It should have been 92. You know, I was probably ready, but I probably wasn't mentally ready to be out there on my own, you know?
Yeah. So you texted me and said you want to talk about Super Looper. That's personally one of our favorite interviews, getting to sit down and talk to him. That was amazing. What does that take you back to? I know you kind of rodeoed with him a little bit early on in your career. I mean,
just great memories, you know, like I never been to a roping school my whole life. And so when I was probably 12, right around that age, 10, 12, only roping school I went to was at George Ranch down there where I grew up with all my best buddies of Roy Cooper's, you know, and so I was 2-day school. So, man, I got attached to him a little bit, you know, like I don't know him, but you know, that's my man, you know, like, so all this stuff, you can say what you want, man. I mean, why do you do this, or why do you do that, or why does Fred do this, or why does Joe do this, or why does whoever do what they do? There's only one. I just, you know, the clip that pops up when y'all's, you know, podcast deal comes, you know, the man changed the freaking sport of rodeo in one event. Like, he was a rock star, man. How do you go from watching that calf roping to Roy Cooper? Like, how do you do that? Like, where did that come from? You know, like, yeah, his dad taught him all this stuff, but how did his dad teach him a whole nother level? Like, there's nobody can even do what he can do. Not even one person can do what he can do.
Nothing he could do. The tie position, the slack, everything, right? Just me watching. That's what it.
How does a guy teach that when it's
not even
never been done? Like, he's doing things that could make the NFR today. Like, he could make the NFR today with that. So what I'm getting at is, like, my coaching came from Roy Cooper. My career, Roy Cooper. Joe, Roy Cooper. His dad, Roy Cooper. All of our dads, but Roy Cooper, Roy Cooper, Roy Cooper. All of us, man. Like, anybody that's made the NFR, Roy Cooper. It started, the bar was there, right? That's where it all came from. So he's my guy. Like, I mean, that's, my teachings come from Roy Cooper. Like, my dad, Roy Cooper, Mr. Beaver, you know, but all of the stuff came from Roy Cooper.
Unbelievable.
We all put our own twist on it. Am I built like Roy? No. So my own twist. I had to change things. Fred had to change things. Joe had to change things. But it all came around one person. And it still does. Like, my teachings are like, well, why's your way better? What do you mean, why's my way better? Why do you rope the dummy like that? You know how many hours I spent roping the dummy with Roy Cooper? I can do it just like Roy Cooper. And I almost do it the same every day as Roy Cooper. I changed my angles a little bit more because times have gotten faster. The angles had to get faster, faster, faster. That's why I'm so adamant about coaching. Like, dude, you're not teaching what's winning first. You're teaching what competes. No, I do private lessons because I'm laser, right? That's what Roy Cooper was. His rope wasn't here. His rope wasn't there. Rope wasn't over there. It was the same every run. He was a robot. Like, the dude is, I mean, we have little sayings that I see him, you know, it's like same sayings that when the day I met him, you know, 94. Yeah. All of it, you know, like one rap, one time, you know, like little things, like I'll be walking up, you can make that calf get up, you know, just fun, you know?
So
fun.
he's the one. Everyone does that now in Thomas and Mack when it's loud.
Oh
He's
yeah,
the first one that ever did that.
Roy Cooper. Yeah, he ride up and just be funny, and just not he wasn't worried about the fans, man. It was like a personal deal with me, and
That is cool.
yeah,
man.
me and Herbert jacked with him, more than anything. He won at 94, and we're all together.
Yeah.
So lots of great memories. I can't listen to one about am I going to judge him what he's done in his life? Nope, I'm not. Sure not. He's not done very much wrong in front of me.
Yeah.
Ever has he? And that's crazy. The picture that everybody's painted him.
Well, that's crazy
I'm
because
in
you
the
know him
ring with
better
him.
than 99.9% of all the people that talk about him,
Yeah.
And then I'm sure that's the same for you. I mean, but
Yeah, like how could he not been on your very first list, right? Like y'all got going over there, making the day with him, and the knowledge that dude has, it's crazy. The memory he has, the guys that meant the most to him, the stories, how he got there, and how he did all this, and Ernie Taylor's and all the other guys outside that motivated him, won world championships before him, like this dude is sick in the head, the knowledge he has. I mean, like, I think I've got a lot of knowledge in the arena. He's got knowledge. This dude could the dude could run the world on certain days. I know he could.
certain days.
I want to ask the question. So you got with Roy, you started going to camps but then you're talking about you're spending a lot of time. When did that friendship and when did that real? It's kind of like you became that mentor. When did that transition happen? What age and when did y'all really start to rope together?
Oh, I did. I never roped with him until I roped the NFR calves for the guys that 1 year at his house. Me and I think Ty Harris or not Ty Harris, Ty Hayes. And then that's kind of where he really seen me rope a lot of calf. But
was that the year before you made the finals? Was that 93?
Yeah, it was the year before. And then, the year before that, my senior year, me and Ty Harris had the greatest match, one of the greatest junior matches of all times in his backyard in his arena. So he's like, oh man, here we go. Right. He's been hearing about me. I went to his school when I was 12 and I never been to any schools other than that. Like my dad was smart enough to bring in Walter Beavers, and that would be with my best friends, 3 of us to cheapen the whole package up. 4 of us go, flank tie, whatever. But that's the only camps or only schools I went to. So that's say 4. And other than that, Roy's hurt. He hears about everybody, he's Roy Cooper, man. He pays attention. So I go there and I'm 18 and I have that match, and then he's like, wow, like his career's kind of coming down and he's got a lot of nice horses. So he's looking for people to ride those horses, and haul, take them on the road with him. And so from that point on, and then when I roped them NFR calves, I probably ran 50 head in one day. I mean, no bullcorn, I could ride all of his horses, all the 3 I had. So I'm roping. And from that point on, he's like, man, just start coming over here to hell with Stephenville, So I'm going to Childress some more and roping and doing all that. And so in 94, I didn't start out with him, but soon after the buildings were maybe over, like the big 4 or 5, and then that stretch there, from like Jackson, kind of started around Jackson, Austin Jackson, that's kind of where it started. And it was about 3 months of that. And I think he ended up getting hurt or his shoulder or doing something. So it didn't last that long, but I lived there at his place for probably 3 months, and then Tough was just a little boy, man. Like I'm pushing him I'm doing chores there. I'm cleaning stalls. We're roping, me and Wishbone, we're doing all this stuff there. And so he's like, man, this dude's got it. Well, now he's got to be careful because Strand's his brother-in-law. We're getting into this deal at the same time. So there's a little bit of here though. He's pushing me, but he's got to be careful. He's got to support his brother-in-law too, so it was a fine line, but man, he had both of our backs. And like I said, I was doing these chores. Tough was just barely big enough. I'd bounce him out the wheelbarrow, like
crazy,
that's why our
man.
bond's so tight, like, man, I should have dumped you on your head, like I should have messed your shoulder up. Like I should have done something to you, man. But you become like,
yeah, you're a freaking thorn in my side come 09
oh yeah,
2010.
so, like now you're my man. Like that, we're that tight for that long,
Yeah.
So it's cool, but that's all Roy Cooper,
I made the finals in 94, first NFR. I don't think went, as good, probably figuring it out.
Things are so different now, like when I take off after that stretch with Roy, we don't even have phones. We don't have anything, it's stop at a payphone. You need to call somebody or anything in life. So I know my dad lent him like, I don't know, 2,500 cash or something. And he gave me like 2,500 cash and off I go, so I remember, letting him asking my dad, well, what are we going to do when he runs out? Like, just kind of take care of him, here. Man, I don't think he's going to run out. Like he had that much confidence in me. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm getting in the rig and I'm getting away from my dad. And I'm like, well, it's going to be kind of weird, So we get out there, 94 is going decent, getting some checks here and there. Before you know it, the California runs over, the next phase of those rodeos out there kind of after, rodeos I never went to again,
Yeah.
But we're flying, we're flying from Austin and they'd say we're landing in San Antonio. Now we're not, we're ended up in California, That's the way, $40, we made it to California. So we get to winning just constantly. You can pick your check up. And then those days, if you talk to somebody at a rodeo and they're going their last perfect, you got them to get your check, right? So you can get that baby home.
Yes, sir.
Man, I never ran out of money. Like that started with $5,000, never ran out of money. Like, so we get 3/4 of the way through the year, maybe not even that far. And only way I know that where I'm at in the standings is when we went to the Right Western store that day and they had a sports news in there. And Lanham, like, first thing we did is let's go get a sports news. We, ours is out of date, whatever. Hey man, you're like 8th in the world.
Didn't even know. You were just roping.
Didn't even know. Just roping. Having the time of my life, just roping. Like, pick up a check. Hell, I might overnight that baby, get 3 or 4 checks. Overnight them home, here we go. Like,
And so back then, now you got the prorodeo.com and you're checking. I check the standings almost every day and just kind of watch, and I love doing it. Back in the day, how are you keeping track of standings later in 95, 96, or you're actually keeping track? What was that process? You're just buying them every week.
Bro, that's not 94, 95, 96. It's the same story.
Oh, it is.
Man,
You're just roping.
We might have got to start getting some kind of phone by then, but it's the same story. Only know I just know I'm going to be able to find out when that's, you'd pass a few guys, you're like, finally I got ahead of that guy. Well, you didn't know that dude placed somewhere else, that week, because you don't know that he placed there. I didn't enter that rodeo. I don't have social media. I don't know that you want to check. You're like, oh, I didn't pass him this week. Or you think you go in the lead for the world, like, God dang, he must have won something over there somewhere that I didn't know he went,
That is crazy.
So you go
results,
weeks thinking you're number 1 in the world, or you say maybe, say you crack the top 15. Well, maybe you didn't. You stayed 17th, because those guys in front of you won, but you didn't know for a couple of weeks.
That's kind of like Canadian rodeo now. There'll be some Canadian money. They'll pop in there 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, I thought I had that guy fast.
I wonder what
that'd be 2 months later when I rodeoed before it showed up in our standings.
Wow.
It'd be like 2 months. Like, dude, I know he won like 2,500 this week. How's he ahead of me still? Like, oh, dude, he won like 4,500 or 8,000. He snuck off to them 5 rodeos, which I didn't even care. I didn't care what's going on in Canada. I mean, I wasn't going over there. Like, so later in my life, like Fred, it was a funny story because we're talking about that. Like, I didn't care. I didn't really care, man. Like, I don't care what that guy's winning over there, because like Fred's favorite deal was, man, what are y'all going to do when we're in that yellow building? What are you going to do? You can't duck off over here to Kentucky. You can't duck off to California, Canada. You got to face the best of the best. So we didn't pay attention to a lot of that, but there was a lot of it going on.
Yeah, you'll see me in December.
See you in December. Yeah.
I'm sure with the delayed standings news in September or October 1st, it'd probably get a little spicy, trying to figure all that out. I'm sure.
And probably not as much for you being on the bubble, but those guys down at the bottom, I can't imagine. I can't wait to hear some stories about those guys thinking they might have made it and not,
Oh, sure. I mean, we heard a lot of those, well, he was 15th and an audit come out, like some money come from, like,
It'd be November by the
It's
time
hard.
they're finding out. You
yeah.
know?
Oh, no, yeah, for
What-
sure.
What was it just now? 2022. They had to take 16 bull riders and that's in 2022.
Guy shows up to Vegas ready to rope in '95. He ain't
He might have
roping.
made the trip to Vegas.
Yeah. You're not here, buddy.
Yeah.
I mean, so 95, 96, make finals and everything, but first world championship. I mean, I've watched those videos 100 times. I'm sure you have. You post them a lot of times, that 10th round run off down there. I mean, what did that feel like? What did that change in you? I mean,
Well, that you bring that up. Trent and Fred and I had dinner the other day trying to get some of this other stuff going that we've got going. And so, like, Joe had got a world championship from him when, we really didn't think Fred could be beat, but what was the number one? Why did he beat you, Fred? Well, he said the other day why he got beat. His horse wasn't good enough. He was good enough, the horse he rode all year, but he wasn't good enough for the NFR to come right back off of him winning it. That horse was carrying him mentally like that was his rock. Well, he didn't have that horse. Okay. So Joe won it, and he feels, the horse was the whole reason. So the first 3 years, I'm building up to, here I am. I win every average every year in my whole life. Okay. Like, if it was an 8-header, I'm going to get a couple of day monies, but I'm going to win the average. I promise you, I ain't going to miss, and I'm not going to mess up on the ground very often. So my first 3 years, this guy, he ain't going to be no world champion. He's just a one-hit wonder, like draws the right calf, or, he's going at the goal rounds only. He's not, he ain't even worried about the average, Well, they painted that picture, That's crazy. Like, I didn't have the horse. I figured out I didn't have the horse my first year, So yeah, I had to turn into bombing, which that wasn't a lucky shot, man. I could do that when I was 12, like 12 years old, 2 swings, bam, NFR 94. I could rope him right there. My dang horse wasn't even good enough the first couple of years to feel like I could get it there, and then I'd just have to pull off a hell of a shot, on 95, and in 96, I won 3 rounds back to back to back. And that's was kind of unheard of, and then tied the record. And then one night of those, I broke the record, arena record, like 7-5, 7-4, 7-3. 7-4 was the record. Just on big, long bodied, running freaking calves, just blast the barrier in 2 swings and get it on, and then, so now I'm in the hunt in the 10th round. I just don't have the horse, and I missed, but it really wouldn't have mattered, but I was close to a world championship. So lo and behold, we go along. I get started off decent. I'm riding topper some here and there and do good at Fort Worth and some places like that. And then one of my best friends was Scott Accamazo. And so he had this horse he rode in high school. Horse is already like 18 years old, and made a deal with him and his mom. She's, they didn't want to send him off. They didn't want to. I mean, he meant that much to him. Well, I got to ride him some, and before I rode him, Tommy Guide rode him some other guys just riding him around these rodeos here. I get this horse, and I have to pay $25,000 up front, mount money. Take him. That counts. If you make the NFR, we're done. Like $25,000.
that's it.
So fork over $25,000. Load the horse up. Straight to Pocatello. I mean, win everything but the boot contest. 27,000 3 days later after I handed over the mount money. And from that day on, mister, I mean, I'm not in Fred's rig. I was earlier in the year, but I'm in my own rig, but we're still entering together. Okay. So you talk about 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 starts 97. And then I, gradually kind of start pulling away because my horsepower is so good, towards the end of the year. Like he said he was like 30,000 behind me in 97. You don't know how powerful that is in 97 to be $30,000 ahead going into the NFR. We're talking about, there wasn't a damn check over $1,500 unless you won a stock show or something, or I dominated. The day money only paid $4,700. You got to compete against all 100, 200 ropers there. $4,700 to win around, so that's time and a half. 10, 12,000 max. Other than that, it's 1,300, 1,200, 1,500, 1,800. Go to Colorado Springs and Caldwell. Day monies are 1,800, time and a half. That's the most you ever won. So to get $30,000 ahead in 97
What did the rounds pay in 97?
Oh, man,
10, 12,000?
12, 13, 10,
Yeah.
somewhere around
So
that.
it's about like an 80, 90, $100,000 lead at going into the finals now.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. So I
Right,
just went
more.
went into the finals not feeling like I felt like I had the very best horse ever to walk at the time, so, same deal. Cocky? No, I ain't freaking cocky, man. It's like, I ain't just turned into this guy in 3 years.
yeah.
I just didn't have the right horse. I could have done this in the right horse. I could have done this. I could have pulled this off in 95, 96 probably. Didn't have the horse. Now I got this horse. Here we go, baby. Like, hold on. So,
Hey guys, we're going to take a quick break from the podcast to tell you about our presenting sponsor, Boot Barn.
There's a lot of things in this world that change, but the Cowboy way isn't one, and Boot Barn understands that better than anybody.
They aren't just selling boots and jeans. They're backing the people who build America, feed America, and protect America.
And they're proving it. With over 600 rodeo sponsorships every year, Boot Barn is keeping the cowboy culture alive, from small town arenas to the biggest stages in rodeo.
With over 450 stores nationwide, Boot Barn is right there alongside the people who are living by the values of the West. They believe everyone deserves a piece of the American spirit.
So whether you're a rodeo legend or a first-timer and you just want to take old girl out on the town, Boot Barn's got you covered from head to toe.
Ty, where are these Boot Barns?
Cole, Boot Barn's nationwide, from coast to coast. Find your nearest location or visit bootbarn.com to get whatever you need.
Thanks, everybody. Back to the podcast.
Fred and I's battles, man, it got ugly at times. It's real ugly. It's still today where, it's our friendships hit and miss, like we're at this deal the other day, all these guys for 97 NFR. Well, I don't want to be the asshole in the room, but I mean, Jeff Chapman owns the record that year. Okay. The arena record, 6'8". I'm the world champ. Really, 97, I ain't a part of none of the rest of y'all.
Yeah.
But me and Jeff Chapman. Really, that's all it's really about, right? But I'm pretty quiet over there. And, everybody, I don't drink anymore. So everybody starts firing up. They're drinking a little bit. Well, that fires up. Shoot, man, ain't nobody better than me, at the other table, I'm just doing my own thing over here. I'm not having them whiskeys, and I'm with Clifton Smith. I'm hearing this story. They're telling theirs, and so everybody gets a little lippy, so gets around that 9th round. We're watching it. Everybody's in the room, so Fred blasts when he runs one like 5 swings out across there, 7-5. Here I am. I'm known as the bomber here. I'm going halfway, just making run after run after run, textbook. That horse was so good, but he was just the things that I teach now, him really getting to the pen. He always wanted to break just a little wide, but coming from Scott style or whoever style we created, that shoulder always coming into us. So he really didn't always leave across like this. He always wanted to leave a little like that. Well, that 2-swing shot was there, but it was a little bit iffy. The length wasn't, but the angle was.
Right.
So 3 and 4 swings, that whole NFR was my money shot. 4 swings was laser. I mean, like that, you can't rope one any closer on that horse because he just set up that perfect go. But it was 4 swings. I was comfortable to not going out. So I know Riley hated roping at the NFR when he won his first one. He hated the rope like he had to rope. Well, that's how I had to rope in 97 too. So it's crazy to link mine in his career. He had to rope that away. In 98, it was totally different for him too. This past year, he'd get the foot on the gas and have some fun. Well, so anyway, back to that story, Fred, he's getting a little juice behind me. He's like, shoot, man, 2 more calves. You don't even win that world championship. I got my back to him, like I'm not putting any fire on any of this. I'm watching his run, Nobody's bragging on their run, like it's kind of quiet in there, but, somebody blasts one out, that's about it, just a little, man, that was a hell of a run, Little put a little gas in the engine, it fires things up, 2 more calves, you wouldn't have won that first world championship. Well, I'm not drinking, I really didn't. I kind of give the old glance, like, what I really wanted to say was, I did say one thing. I said, yeah, I just, that's the best I could do, man. That's the best I could do. I could go 3/4 ways in 97 and blast. That's the fastest. At any time, I couldn't put my foot on the gas anymore. Is that what you're saying, really? Like, You don't think I can back that off to 3 swings at the most and knock off a half second, 7/10? No, I'm not that guy, man. I can't be any faster than I'm being right now. No, I'm just not beating myself, right? I'm playing to this tune now. I'm not beating myself. The horses that I had helped me beat myself in the past. But this guy here, he's not going to let me down. The only thing that's going to let me down is me. So I'm not going to do that. So my horsepower was so strong. So now I want to, that's the only jab I had back. I had a bigger one. He said, if I had 2 more rounds, you wouldn't have won that world championship. So my jab was, well, I mean, you're saying I couldn't be faster than I'm being, right? So that's what he was kind of saying, which we know was friggin' wrong. So I wanted to turn around, man, like, because I'm like, I'm like, So this is how we're going to get the rest of the evening, right? So we're going to get some whiskey jabs here. I don't drink, man. I got to get out of here. But I was wanting to say, well, how many calves did you need in 98? 20? Like, did you need 20 to beat me? So that was, I'm driving home, man. My freaking hair's on my arms. Like, I came here and freaking tied down like 10 calves from that jab, listening to how old these farts are and how bad they hurt and all this bullshit. Like, I'm the youngest dude in the room, man. See y'all later. And I looked around. I'm like, man, I'm none of you guys. See y'all later. And that's how we were in 95 together. We're in the same rig. We're in the same damn bed at most times. Like, we ain't getting 2 rooms. There's 3 of us, 2 of us and a driver, that's how we're rodeo. We're in the same top bunk of a camper. Like, people don't get it. Most of those years, we're in the same rig, like in the same camper, day in, day out. We would all go out, party, there ain't no telling how many rounds of drinks I've bought in my lifetime. Like, I'm not talking about rounds. I'm talking about platters, right? Same way with him. Party with all these guys. The next morning, if somebody messed with me at the bar, he's going to slap them, right? We was like brothers at one time, like that type. But we're winning first and second. I promise you, we're going to win first and second tomorrow. But the whole mentality come from like thinking I'm cocky or I'm arrogant, I'm a prick. No, we're on a whole nother level here, man. When we're saddling our horses and the guys we partied with last night come by, man, they're laughing and they're giggling there, man. Man, that was a hell of a time. And they speak to, and I didn't really know. I mean, I'm still like, I'm watching this guy close, like he just, he's not going to not speak, but he's just kind of like, what's up, man? Like, he's on another level, man. Hungover, probably, but
Didn't matter.
Game face, mister. Hungover? You damn right. But game face. Like, we're riding side by side to these rodeos, to the slack, side by side. What's up, Fred? Partied all night last night with Hoot and Holler. What's up? That's it. And today, I can't even imagine the guys that competed against us. I can't even imagine.
I bet they hated to see you guys coming up there to the slack, boy.
No, I don't even know what they felt. I mean, like, oh shit! Here we come. Here we come. They're already sitting on the roping box. They have the calf roping fixed started. Here they come. And then I'm the same guy. Like, I'm trying to be friendlier. Like, I've not been around that much. I don't have no world championship. Like, what's up? Like, whoo, like, game face, mister.
Killer.
We're winning. Hey, I don't know what y'all are doing today. For one, you're freaking trading with us. You're trading with us, and we're winning first and second, pretty much the way it's going to go down today. I don't want to call your grandma 17 times, and you're at work. We're trading today. Right?
Hey, you guys messed it up for us. We can't get a damn trade no more.
Man,
Thanks to y'all.
Well, we did, because it got to the point where, we're the first guys that started paying for trades. We had to have it. I can't turn this calf out. You can. You ain't gonna win nothing anyway. That's the harshest thing to say, but it's the damn truth. Like, most of them back then, they rodeoed part time. They had a day job. We don't have it. This is our job, man.
Yeah.
You're trading with us today, and I don't even know when I'm up, but that's when you're open. And so that's how it went. Like, if I win the day money, Didn't bother me 1 ounce, man. Hey, go get that check. I'm running your calf today. Like, if it costs me $1,000 to get that money, so be it. I'm gonna get it tomorrow too. I promise you. They draw me a chance, I'm winning it. I mean, I'm winning second. Vice versa. If I have a better one than him or he has a better than me, we're getting you money. You're gonna get it. And so, like I said, I'm gonna buy that trade because I have to, or I'm gonna have to turn out. I can't turn out. I just won the first round. Here you go. You know,
That's what's crazy about this sport. I mean, you got Cody and Fred is like, Larry and Magic, or, the two greatest in the sport, probably the two greatest to ever live together, but still stone cold killers competing against each other. I mean, the memories, and I can't imagine how hard that is to navigate with, the friendships and everything else in between. I mean, it's probably the greatest rivalry in rodeo history. I'm not talking about calf roping, but I was driving up here last night for hours, just like, this has got to be the greatest rivalry in rodeo history.
I know it is. I mean, the whole story, I hope more of our stuff comes out from what we've started, his and I, because it's the damnedest thing you ever heard of. You honestly, our 10 years or 12 years, whatever it was, our run of dominance, him or me winning it, him or, vice versa. They have no clue. So we're in the same rig the first year we match at San Angelo. From that phone call, things changed. We're still in the same rig.
When you got called to match, when they asked you?
So I know, oh shit. That's why I didn't wear a short sleeve shirt, because you see goosebumps and stuff that I get on my arms still. Like, if you bring up his name, I'm ready, man. I'm freaking ready. Let's go. Like, everything changed from that phone call, the very first one, until we were done matching at Angelo. Like, when I get that call, we might have been buddy, like tight, but we still were, but things were separating. He's starting to play the little mind games with me, and I'm starting to play the mind game with, like, I'm reading him. What do I need to work my ass off on soon as he drops me off at his house to get my rig and go home to my dad? What do I need to do between now and San Angelo? And not only that, not a conversation won, and we're in the same rig all year long. Not a phone call, not a conversation won, other than entered NFR. Get to the match open. Not a handshake, not a nothing. This is funny shit watching match open today. Like,
a lot different.
Hey, I'm talking about, this is boxing. Maybe no sex for a few weeks, like serious shit. Like the things they say, like their wives can't go with them. They're going boxing. Right. I'm going to San Angelo, man. Honey, get in the stands. Don't be down here. Fred's picking his calves. You think we're picking our calves? 2 foot, 10 foot, joking around like they do now? Back your ass up over there and don't come 1 foot closer to our conversation, and don't your ass come over here to my conversation. Nothing. Not a word. Pick the calves. Just like, what's he gonna pick? I know what horse he's got. He's gonna pick the strongest ones. Well, his horsepower's not as strong today. He's gonna pick a little lighter, middle of the road type calf. No, not me, mister. I'm picking the biggest, strongest, hardest ones in the whole pen. Like, I got the horsepower. I'm in my prime, 96, 97, 98. I'm picking the juice. I'm picking the big soggy. I'm ready to go. I feel like I'm a man now. I'm not a boy. But it's such a mind game. The way we picked them. Who's picking them with us. The coin toss was, it was crucial, because whoever won that or lost that got to pick the calves. And to me, picking the calves was way more important than what order we roped them some bucks, or I know his horse is not that good halfway down the arena, because that's where we was headed on these babies. They was roping calves, I mean, my man Tudor, he just put one huge calf in there every year. And our friendship was stout when we get to San Angelo, mine and Tudor. Like, I'm picking him just for you, man. I don't give a damn if it's the one that takes us both out. I'm picking that calf just for you. Okay. And he knew that. So every year he just put that baby in there. But anyway, I'm getting off, story here, but head to head, buddy. When that baby starts there, it's quiet as a church mouse. It's all, they know this is a boxing match of boxing matches. Why do I call it heavyweight? Well, today the size of the ropers, to me, Shad body size and stuff, he would fit in the heavyweight. You know what I mean? Like, to me, it's always just called a heavyweight match, like, to me, because it was just like boxing, and I turned TV on. That's how boxing was, like the weigh in, from the weigh in on, like dudes are wanting to just tear each other's heads off at, when they're right like this, and that's how we were. Like, don't say nothing out of freaking content right here while we're doing this, or there's no jabs. There was some jabs, but don't say the wrong jab. You know what I'm saying? You might get jabbed, so the stuff that brought out in us and my career, in the matches and being held accountable. I'm not competing against 200 guys here. I'm competing against the best guy in the business. And then the tides turn a little. He's competing against the best guy to do it. Like, you put that in one arena and some testosterone and you name it, and some ugly fans screaming ugly things. And buddy, it's serious shit, so, but by the time that match is over, the respect that he and I had for each other, regardless of how that ended that day, he would come out to the arena, shake my hand, vice versa. I'd ride out, shake his hand, hell, a hug sometime, Guess what we're at? 2 hours after that, we're at the nicest steakhouse. Sometimes not, depends what family we had there. We'd go family. What is it, Santa Fe Junction?
Yes, sir.
Santa Fe Junction, baby. Back together. Maybe went there in the same rig. Somebody messed with me. Sorry, man. Pow. Open hand slapped your ass. Like, 2 hours after this, and we ain't spoken month and a half. What kind of story is that?
I mean, being able to turn that off and back on, I mean, it's just unreal. That's the crazy part about our sport. We always talk about.
We've talked match opens with Mr. Roy. We talked about it we've talked about it 50 times already. Or we've done 23 episodes. We probably talked about it 15 of the 23. The way you described that right there gave me goosebumps, man. That's the best true depiction of what everyone wants match open to be.
There's three things that still give me goosebumps. Talking about that, talking about God, and talking about my world championship run in there and some things. And now, it's four things in my coaching now is the only thing is still, like, 2 days ago, I had some really good friends that their kids were, and we bring up the right stuff. I'm like, you think I'm freaking passionate about teaching your daughter? Do you think I am? She's like, I shave my arms. I hate hair on my arms like I do, but I have just a little bit on there right now. And she's like, she wanted to bring up shaving my arm. I said, no, do you not see what's going on right there?
That's not the point.
I said, there's some peach fuzz right there and a lot of goosebumps from the back of my neck to my knuckles there. I'm not right now. Like, do you understand? Do you think I'm passionate about that loop I'm teaching your daughter? Do you think I'm game on when I cross this deal right here? When you cross into those two double gates there.
Sharp.
That's where I was already good at that kind of stuff. That's where I became great at it. Watching that dude be at the best of his game, but also be at the best of his game. He was the best at washing his truck. He was the best stall cleaner I've seen some great Mexicans in my lifetime with my family background, having, running big ranch and, quarter horse operation. I've seen some dudes that can clean a freaking stall, man. They can't clean a stall like Fred Whitfield can clean a stall, and he cleaned that baby 5-6 times a day. So that's where you want to talk about my stall cleaning now? That's where it came from. Watching my Mexican guys all my life and then watching Fred Whitfield clean the stall. I'm out here at midnight, man. I'm a firm believer. If that freaking horse can read my loop, you think he can read that I'm cleaning his stall where he don't have to lay in his own crap?
Yep.
I'm a firm believer. I think that's what Fred thought too. I never asked him, I just know that that's the way he went about it. There wasn't ever, his horse wasn't ever laying or standing in pee or crap ever.
Wow.
And, hard as we were on our horses, we weren't that hard on them. We just held them accountable. If I'm going to give 110%, Bubba, you better be at 100, but we loved our horses more than anything in the world. That was our lifeline, but like you're saying, I already had that in me. I knew how he was going to be. Those other guys didn't know if he was going to speak or he wasn't going to speak. And, today I have his back today. Like, was he that big of a prick, man? He's a sorry ass person. Dude, that dude's he's got a heart like you can't even imagine. You just get the adrenaline side of it, like you painted the wrong picture, like the dude would have taken a bullet for me at one time. I know he would have. He'd have stepped right in front of that sucker. Guarantee you.
What about Joe B during that time? Because it's Fred, and then Joe's dominant right in that era too.
Yeah, I mean, far as health, he's already having knee problems, kind of, and stuff like that going on. My roping didn't come. I mean, my roping come from a lot of watching him, and stuff, and the two swings and doing all that stuff. But he was 2 steps behind us at that point when I came on. Like he was the baddest cat. His rookie year through however long. I mean, he was one of my idols. That he was ranked, but his body fluctuated kind of like mine did my whole career. Like there's years that really gave a crap about roping. There was years that he really didn't, go make the cut, but he was already kind of fluctuating weight then. And then, health problems started coming in. So to be honest, he was really out of our way kind of, or out of my way.
Yeah.
He wasn't, he snuck in there and got some all arounds, but he wasn't going to get a world championship in the case. There was no possible way. I mean, there wasn't.
Because his first gold buck was in 85,
Mhm.
yours is in 97, so there's that 12-year gap right there.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And the calf roping, it's a lot.
Sure. I mean, you're talking about 12 years. Like I say, you're talking about a big dude. I mean, big dude can't go as fast as me, man. Like Shad told me one time, man, when we're across, you ain't got the body. I mean, I'm going to blow your career out of the water. You don't have. I said, bro, really? I've been the greatest athlete. I feel like I've been one of the greatest athletes of all time. Like, what are you talking about, man? Why am I so dominant in the 10th round? Same reason I was like 1 minute left on the clock, man. Toss me the ball or let me block one of the two. My ass is getting in the end zone. You're going to call me I'm not an athlete?
I've seen the clips.
I said, so
he was
some
an
of
athlete.
those runs here lately, the Mo Better runs, was kind of, man, I mean, I posted them for the world, but kind of reassuring.
Yourself.
Did you just see that? Going 200 miles an hour and get off of there controlled and blast 3/4 ways down the arena going 200 miles an hour. I just was like, it just makes me laugh on the inside. Like, yeah, man, shit. My hip gave away finally 30 years after my career. I mean, I blew my knee out, but nothing else on this thing right here failed me. Like, when I wanted to be in shape, I could be the top best athlete at any time I wanted to be. But to get that comment from him, I'm like, hey, man, you're claiming your freaking hip's gone out 4 years into your career, man. You ain't got the body. Who ain't got the body, man? I blocked off 300-pound calves at San Angelo for 21 years, man. Like, who's got the body and who don't have the body?
Those are some of my favorite runs of yours, and I think it's even what you were already saying. When you were $30,000 ahead, you're four swinging out there in the middle of the arena, low eights, and I don't know the exact times, but you may be touching high 7, low 8s, 4 swings, big old calves,
260, 70-pound calves.
huge calves, and
Yeah,
you're
and just,
eating them
like
up.
I'm saying, like I watched back these runs. It wasn't that they were so much, at times, yes, bigger, soggier, but they were just older calves, like framier, long bodied. I mean, like super long bodied calves, so one that could freaking run, you know what I mean? Cause he's stretching another 10 inches further than a calf that I feel like a fast calf today does. Like there's some fast calves, but their body types were different, long bodied, like when breakaway, big older calves here. I said, his calf doesn't look like he runs, but he's long strided. So he runs faster than you think. So that's how those calves ran. So like 5 swings in the 10th round, maybe 6. I don't know. Like that's how far it goes. And that's That's the only time I felt like I could catch that calf. You
Yeah.
know? Really.
So 98, that's when you got a Rayhouse, right?
Yes.
How did that come about?
I was just leasing him in 98. You know, JD still hauling him around a lot. You know, I didn't take him until summertime rolled around, you know.
JD Tadlock?
JD Tadlock.
That's our it's game time.
Yeah,
He's our
that's it.
mascot. The video is his. That video is our theme song.
Well, I'm just telling you, like, there's no bigger cheerleader in the world, man. I'm telling you, if you're on the man's team, you're riding his horse, you're on his team, there's nobody that believes in you more than JD Tadlock. If you're riding, I'm telling you what, I brought a lot of money and a lot of food to the table for him and Beth. Mount money. I promise you, I've paid some bills around there. But as soon as I wasn't riding that horse and Ty Hayes was riding that horse, a few months later, I got a match open at Mobetta against Ty Hayes. Bro, you'd have thought I owed him $200,000.
Really?
I'm telling you, that's how. If you're on the team, man, get ready because he's your biggest fan. He's going to break it down with you. You're not going to know you're not the greatest roper ever to walk. You're not going to know you're not, I promise. And that's why a lot of those younger, guys that not the size wise went ahead and made the finals because he freaking believed in them every day. And they're riding his horses and he's raking in the cash, but he believes in them. He's telling them how great they are every day.
Wow.
I wouldn't want that guy not rooting for me. I mean, you imagine Ty Hayes and he's talking mess to you? That's a scary man, dude.
Yo, it wasn't him, it was JD and his wife. Like, that's how adamant they are about their team, like.
He don't know him, but I showed him the video of it when Houston Hutto's in the passenger seat.
Yeah.
That's
priceless. That's the way I went about my whole career because the way I was around people, like Fred, same way. He's not going to be over there. We didn't have any distractions. We didn't have a phone. My distraction was I'd have 3 badass ropes in that can, and I'm going to figure out here in about 20 minutes which one's wants to be great today and which one don't want to be his best today. That's the only damn concern I got. I'm staring down this calf, I'm fixing to wear his ass out with this rope. But my only concern is which one of you boys want to be a winner today out of this can? I don't have a distraction. My biggest thing teaching these kids now, like, you're not, my girls, you're not watching Shelby. She's 3 ropers before you. You know what you're watching? No.
that big screen.
You're watching the damn big screen, man. I don't give a shit. You're standing in the background. I don't care. Like, your eyes need to be down there. The girl that's beating you just went, and you're like, you're like me at AT&T. No, shit, he's roping right there. Watch that.
Yep.
Watch her kicking your ass, and then you'll figure out why. Every day. Not that. But like back to that, I didn't have a distraction. I didn't have a phone to glance at 2 minutes before I ride in the box. Whoo, look at my DMs. Nah. Focus. That's all it was for us,
Yeah.
No distractions. Day in, day out.
Yeah. That's amazing. Wow. That's unbelievable. So you said earlier when you were telling the story that you had them lapped in 98,
Well, I didn't have them lapped in 98. I just fed that 97 year. I hated roping like that in Vegas, like it did, but I hadn't won a world championship yet, but I knew I couldn't stub my toe. My horse wasn't going to stub my toe. I mean, he's ready. I know I'm ready, but 98 foot on the gas, man. Like, I don't have to tell you anything. I don't have to be cocky. I know right here who's the best roper. I mean, I know. You're not freaking beating me in 98. You're not. Period. So I just go cap off 1, 2, 3. Win the first round, win the second round, win the third round, win second and the fourth round.
almost the same thing Riley did this year.
Yes, what I'm saying, our 2 years are like twins, man. He got a couple more day monies, but I was borderline getting some. But just we had to rope the same way. We just couldn't beat ourselves, and we had to put our foot on the gas a little bit in there. But what I'm getting at is 98. The World Championship's over. After I get done in the fourth round, it's done. I mean, I'm 30 grand in the lead going in, and I just knocked out 3 first places and then a second place. And then I win it again like in the 7th round, but it was already over by the calculation. I mean, like it legit done in 98.
For going to the 3-peat in 99, what's your thoughts?
Man, I'm a 1-horse guy, man. When my horses started kind of kind of petering out on me just a little bit. You know, that throw that was so awesome and so consistent right there. I just felt a couple inches behind, 6 inches behind that at all times in 99, and so, I should have won it in 99. Come down to the 10th round and had it. I mean, he wants to talk about stealing that buckle, in 97. I steal 2 of them from him, the all around and the calf roping in 99. If when calf comes around, my rope pulls up on the wrong side, I rope him 2 swings. I know I need to do good, I don't have to win first, but I'm going to.
Yeah.
And he comes around there and the rope pulls up on the wrong side, and his nose, he's real long body. His nose hits me right in the buckle. And I hit him going so hard that it kicked my feet out behind me. So I'm level with the calf, boom, have to get up and go. And, I didn't win any money, but I only lost the world championship like 6,000 and 5,000 for one or the other. I mean, that was
for 2 more buckles, all around and
two world championships right there.
What
one run, but just that bad luck happening. It wasn't like a run through the barrier and I freaking missed. I mean, like this, it's over. And bam, no, it ain't.
We talked and we've showed this video before. And 01 was when that happened. In the 9th round. That run, I mean, I think it's given everybody in the rodeo world chills seeing that the way that you finished that and going through that on that terrible injury. I mean, you said that was for an all around title to still tie that one down, or what? I mean, what was going through your mind?
This is how that deal went. Like, so 98, I just told you that dominance of that year. So 2001, I get that horse again. He wasn't everybody's horse. That dude was my horse. I knew how to handle my slack better than anybody I felt at the time. I could move my slack over. He would move. He just wouldn't move like with me, wouldn't move half as bad as he would with somebody else. So I learned how to do it. So I get to Vegas, same deal. Boom, boom, boom. It turned into fun. I mean, I'm competing against guys and they're laughing in the background, Strand and Cash Myers. This is like the 5th round or something. I mean, I just come across their rope and Kev actually kind of breaks to the right and my horse fades, and last minute I got it right here and I just go a little wider with it. It wouldn't have worked for anybody else at the time. It just rolls this calf like 2 complete rolls, like boom, boom. I patient in the stirrup. It's coming over that second roll and I just slide right in there and just like he never rolled. Like I posted him up flanking in time from the post and just blow through him. And the first 2 people I look at when I'm walking, they're literally clapping and laughing. Like, what the hell? I mean, the dude can do no wrong. He's beating our ass. Like, he's having fun doing it. So now it's the point. It's like, oh my God, not seriously. So we rock on there. That's the 5th round or so. And then give me a couple more checks. Well, guess what? I mean, the world championship's over in the calf roping, 5th round. But I gotta pay attention to the all around. That's my whole year flying around these little charter planes. Feel like I'm gonna die at any time. Me and Trevor side by side, rodeo and doing all this flying around these steer opens. And yeah, I'm talking about some scary shit. Anyway, calf opens over 5th round, but I got to stay consistent. I'm all around. Jesse Bell's and he's in 2 events down there. Got to keep my foot on the gas a little bit. Well, 9th round rolls around. I'm winning the average. Done won the world championship. Fred smokes one down. I can't let him win the round. You know what I mean? Like, the calf roping's over, like he ain't going to get that buckle tonight. I'm beating Fred Whitfield. I mean, I'm not letting him have this far along in the finals. I'm going to get it. And I come right here, signature anti-Cody Ohl. Bottom strand comes down for the day money shot. Goes underneath his neck. And I'm like, why? Just go get a time on 2 calves and go home. Like, I was way ahead in the average, like way ahead, like 15, 16 seconds in the lead. Miss. Get down there and I rope this calf and still, all arounds in my mind because that whole year was about all around. Like, only thing I hadn't won is all around, and that's what I've been my whole life. The greatest all around person to date, probably. So all this goes down. I know I blew my knee out. Go down and cut my rope. Well, I cut my rope, leave me like 4 inches. Well, my mind wasn't there, like I should have just laid on the calf, cut the rope, grabbed the ear, let him up, flanked him. I mean, I'm not thinking, I'm thinking, hey, my career's over. Not only that, I guess because we're in Vegas, only thing I can see there is a flashing board about like the size of AT&T Stadium. So all this is going on. I'm dragging and I'm pulling behind one leg and I'm dragging and I'm just, my eyes are shut and I'm holding on for dear life. This big old white flashes just like this, like boom. Everyone you leave there going to a hotel. You lost. You lost. You lost. Like, bullshit I did. This calf ain't getting away from me, bro. Like, he ain't getting away. Like, I lost. You're telling me I lost? Bullshit. You ain't never telling me that. So I get him tied down, and it was the craziest thing come over my body, just like the 3 experiences with God. Like that was what was going through my mind. Other than, like getting this job done was going through my mind, but that was number 1 right then. And that was what was feeding me. Like, no, I didn't freaking lose. Bullshit. This calf ain't beating me. So come the 10th round, calf roping's over. They're trying to tell me I have to make a decision if I'm going to compete in the 10th round or I'm not going to compete in the 10th round. Can I stop you
right there? When did the injury happen? You kind of...
When I come around the corner there, they thought I stepped in the camera pit and all that. What happened is I just feel like I got a hold up on my slack there because I roped it. I took a kind of a wild shot, but my roping was so good at the time, I feel like I could take any shot and it worked, So I took kind of a swing around the corner shot and I figure eight a back leg. Well, I knew what was fixing to happen. It was just going to strip off the whole damn calf, right? Because the calves are strong and big and it was deep behind the shoulder and I had a front leg. So I knew it was going to strip off the calf if I didn't do something on my part. So what got me is I lifted up on that slack to hold it tight. So if it did strip off of there, I was still going to have that leg in the rope somehow. But with my weight coming down in the momentum, coming around the outside of that deal, like you're on damn merry-go-round, like that's the drive down I'm getting already. And then when that weight of that calf in my hand, so I had his weight, I had already had that drop down weight swinging down hard anyway. All of that come tight at the same time. So, like it really didn't hyperextend me because it didn't pop me up like that. But this thing just shimmied. It went like that. It was done. Like when I went to get up and I couldn't get up, I was like, it was the worst feeling ever. Like what just happened? Like I know I'm done, but like, am I done for my career? Am I done for the NFR? So anyway, long story short, I get the job done. So they're trying to make me decide if I'm going to compete or I'm not going to compete before I leave the rodeo that night. Tandy's icing me and telling me everything that without MRI, he nailed it, told me exactly what was wrong with it. Unbelievable, I was like, you watched me do what I just done. Never been done before, probably. You're going to tell me I can't do that? I'm still in the average on 9 head. I'm 7th or 8th. And I watched Jesse Bell go on the saddle bronc ride, so he's got to win first kind of to beat me. My event's after his. And you're going to tell me I have to make a decision to turn out. I promise you put the best knee brace in the world on this knee. And at the time, this is funny. I said, I'll put a whole roll of duct tape over all that. And you're going to tell me I can't break the freaking barrier and rope that calf 2 swings, jerk him down, and you're going to say I can't beat the whistle? Dude, I don't know what planet you're on, but I can get a time. I promise you I can get a time. I can't hurt my knee any worse. I can't walk on it. It's the size of a damn pumpkin, but you're going to tell me I can't beat 60 seconds? Ain't no way in hell. If I got to win that 3,500, what 8th place paid in the average, I promise you I can get that. I promise you I can. If I got to win 3,500 to win the all-around championship of the world, I just showed you what winning that the night before meant to me. Like I wasn't giving up. But that's things that I dealt with in my life. Like Would they have said that to somebody else? Would they have asked Trevor Brazile that after he'd won 10 of those? Would they ask him, man, you got to make a decision right now? Stuff I've dealt with in my career that it's turned me sour. That's like I fed off a lot of that stuff, I wasn't going to get the break that some of the guys got, it just was, that's the way it was.
Yeah.
Well, sorry.
10th round calf.
He didn't have to run him, right?
I didn't have to run him.
Go out there and gets his 2 gold buckles on crushes.
Wow.
So coming back in 02, tore up knee, recently married, correct?
Mm-hmm. Blake,
baby on the way.
Yeah, Blake's on the way. He's August, so that night was pretty empty in that hotel room. You know what I mean? Like, I hadn't even told my mom having a baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, might have before the 9th round, but pretty clear right there. Like, I'm getting married and having a baby and done took on Hunter. I would be the greatest thing ever happened in my life, man. I become a dad without the process. Like, I became a dad overnight. Like, oh man, dude, I'm a dad. I love this shit right here, boy. Like, I tell you, I found something, man. I am a dad. I mean, I love that dude like no other, like, so I got one of my own coming, but here I am.
Can't do nothing.
And then
can't work.
Life starts kicking in, man. It's not like surgeries nowadays. It's like the laughing joke now. Like, man, what's wrong with you? Hey, go get that fixed. Man, this is like heart surgery at the time. I mean, that's how serious it was. This is a process. Like, I didn't get to even rope a calf for 8 full months, man. Like, not a single calf, not even nothing.
That was hard. That had to be hard to go through.
I had mentally to go through 3 different surgeries to get it all done. Couldn't do it all at one time. Couldn't do this, 3 surgeries. So, like, nowadays you knock it out, it seems like 3 months. Guy's coming back pretty strong already, regardless of what he's done because of, technology and all that stuff. But I'm thinking, shoot, man, they're fixing to eat me alive. I'm Trevor Brazile in 2001. I already got 2 badass rigs, a 3rd truck, a Freightliner, and I ain't got no way to make any money for 8 months. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I done got all the stuff that they got nowadays. I had in 2001, a driver, 2 drivers, 2 rigs, 2 sets of horses. Like, no way I'm like, how's this going to work? I'm getting married. I got a baby on the way. I got all this stuff. We didn't have sponsorships in. I mean, I might have got a deal on a trailer, but not a free deal,
Yeah.
I got 4 payments just in rigs, 2 trailers, 2 trucks, and then an extra truck to go airport, do whatever in, so 5 payments just on rigs. It turned into the point, man, like, don't threaten me, you're going to pick this shit up, man. Pull in here. The keys are in every one of them. If y'all can't wait on me, come pick the shit up. Like, they're going to eat. I'm going to eat because I know I'll be back now. I mean, Tanya's told me I'll be back. I'll be back. I might tear my other knee up, but I won't tear this one up. So, long story short, I mean, I'm getting eaten alive for 3 or 4 months. I'm like, what are we going to do here, And like I said, 2002 was just a wash, but when I felt like I could be ready for San Angelo, on 8 months, Abilene was the first calf I ran competition. Then it was like I was getting ready for my first match. I that far along in my career, I was running 75 calves a day first 2 weeks.
So, and at that time, we talked about Angelo, and was that 97, the first match, you and Fred, 97? 96. It's like every year you're matching, every single year.
21 straight.
So then you're coming off the ACL injury, and that's the first one coming back.
And you only roped a calf like what, a month before it? A month and a half before
I went to Abilene. Abilene was my first rodeo. So y'all were at Pendleton?
Yeah.
So we're coming home after Pendleton. I mean, that's when I'm getting dropped off at home normally. So a month and a half, maybe. So that was my first calf. That was the first time I on a horse, anything, flank tie, that's it. Abilene and then match rope.
And then the rules of the match rope, when you lose, but if you're defending champ, you get to run it back.
You had to lose 2 in a row.
2 in a row.
Yeah, and then you're done. Yeah.
So then who are you matching into at that time?
Well,
is that still Fred?
No. Fred, Blair had a a hell of a year that year. And I think he's winning the world in 02 at the time when they picked the match. And it was kind of time like they were, you know, they was kind of they wasn't wanting anything new, but I mean, like, if there's something that would be better, maybe let's try it, you know? So he drew bad. He drew bad. You know what I mean? Like, I had a lot of shit in here, right? Like, first off, I quit doing anything but calf roping. I mean, that was probably my worst mistake ever. Like, I should have just come right back the way I was, you know, like, but I had so much in my heart because of what I hear, you know, like, that's what fed me to get back so hard. Like, he'll never be the same. He's not going to rehab. He ain't going to do all the things to get him back to who he was when he.
They said that.
Yeah, I mean, it's known. Like, you know, he's not going to do all that. That fired me up, man. Like, I moved to town, got a rent house. I'm a block and a half from rehab, man. I'm like literally across the street in a rent house. I go in the morning and I go in the evening 2 times a day. When I can start really rehabbing, 2 times a day. And I said, I'll never do anything but calf rope from this. And after I won that world championship, I should have just went right back to everything else, but I didn't. Well, I proved my point. But anyway, I got well that match. Man, I'm running like 60 calves a day for like 2 weeks. I mean, I got 5, 6 horses there. I got Trent bringing his practice horse. I got Sid Miller bringing horses over. I mean, I'm getting ready, baby. Like, there was not a chance in hell he was beating me. Like, I've never roped in mud very good in my life. I never really have. Just hadn't. It rains there. First time ever. And so the night before, I just got this little 1-horse trailer in my truck they gave me. And I got something jammed up on their window or something. I tried to get it where I tie that horse or something. My hand slips off of there and just slices my knuckle all the way to the bone. The ring finger was on my right hand, all the way to the bone, like an inch wide, that deep. And I mean, it felt like it cut the tendon in that thing, you know? So I go down there and I got this baby wrapped and trying to get by it, but it didn't matter. That sucker could have been sawed off. And I'm roping these calves and it looks like I'm roping on dry ground with my horse going out about it the same way. And he looks like he's roping in 3 foot of mud. I mean, that's how the day went. I mean, it was a lot to prove to myself, but it was a lot to prove to
Everybody else.
The haters. Yeah.
So come back 03, 10th go round. You had to win the round to win the world?
I mean, I don't know that I had to win the round, but I had to win ahead of him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I had to win it in front of him. And, you know, there was some decent calves that week that I kind of wanted, but that number of calves stuck out, you know, and I was like, man, I'd like to run that calf. And
what number was he?
67. And so, Paul Zanardi's helping me. And so he calls me, tells me what calf I got. And they hadn't even want to check on that calf all week. Moss had run him 1 round. I know that's the 1 run I went off of. And he had rolled him or something. And he was like 9. The fastest they were on that calf was 9.2 or something. I mean, he was a good calf. It just didn't work out, you know. That's the one I get. I just know that's the calf, you know, the calf I need. And here we go. It's all on the line, you know. So that's what, you know, I'm not a prick nowadays, but I'm going to tell you what, if I'm winning the average or I'm winning the average and I got to win the round to win a world championship, I'll jeopardize that 70,000, 80, whatever it is, or whatever it was then, or whatever it is now. I don't give a damn if it's a 200,000. I'm going after that gold buckle. I'll jeopardize that 200 grand. That shit won't happen nowadays. I'm going to go win the average and win the 200,000. No, I'm winning this sucker right here on this calf, winning it. There won't be no doubt. There won't be no questions asked. It'll be done in 2 seconds. We're going to be done with this. But that's the way I went about it. Like, I mean, nobody's ever stole a world championship from me, ever. But I've got a couple of them from other, you know. But I got that one. I wasn't supposed to get it, but I got it. You know what I mean? Just from that one run.
6'5".
6'5".
You got that picture right over there. Arena record, world record, probably the greatest call in all of rodeo history, in my opinion. I mean, that
it was crazy. Honestly, like, so that night, because that was the last couple weeks we talked about this, leading up to that arena was unreal loud.
Yep.
I would just say this one was just equal. It was because it ain't never been done, right? Like it was going, 3 runs in a row led up to that, but this right here, like 6'5".
Bob Tallman and Boyd Paul Hemus, man.
You're talking about those records were all 1/10, 1/10, 1/10. You're talking about 3 or 4 tenths, and you're talking about if you play that back, there's a chance right there I was 6'2" or 3, really. I mean, I had to damn sure, I was damn sure cleared my calf when I'm just saying. A lot of times mine was, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Was that when you run your horse around the calf?
That was
Yes.
That was like I didn't know what to do. I really didn't know what to do. Like, but I knew right then I owned the freaking arena. You know what I'm
Do
saying?
whatever you want.
They just showed me that I owned this freaking arena. Like,
Whatever you want, baby.
I should have just kept loping. If I had to do it all over again, hell, I'd have just took off. I just went when they officially took my rope off the calf. I'd have just went the whole arena. I think if I had to do it again. I'd have held up the show a little bit more.
He said, "You wanted a record. You're gonna get it. You're gonna get
You mind
it."
if I? So, guys, this is the end of this episode of the Let's Freakin' Rodeo podcast with Cody Ohl. Ty, we both know this episode was too good just for one
3-hour interview, and it never died down. There was never a dull moment. We had to make it into 2 episodes for you guys. Check back next week. If there's anything that didn't get answered, it's probably going to be in there.
Next week, part 2, Cody Ohl. We'll see you there.